I want to ask you about, after UFC 100, there seemed to be such a spike in interest, and Philadelphia did, the media there was all over the show, and you had unbelievable coverage from the Philadelphia media, but you certainly haven't had that in Portland, it doesn't seem. And, there's women's golf on the front page of the paper today, and there hasn't been anything on MMA. Do you think that is an indication that MMA still has a ways to go to kind of get to...
I say it all the time. People talk about how big this thing is and how big the sport is and how big the UFC is. I mean, it's just like you said, not only here, we're here and we're not getting covered by the, by the mainstream. I think the last time, where were we? Last time we were in Ohio, they weren't really covering us. We go to these places and sell tons of tickets, and we'll have hotels filled and restaurants filled, and we still don't get the love that like you said, women's golf will get on the front page. We're still fighting that battle, and we're gonna for a long time. And we have, like I said, that's why I always say we haven't even scratched the surface of how big this thing's gonna be.
What do you hear when you talk to sports editors or publishers or whatever? What is the objection that they tell you why they're not doing
it? I went in and talked to the Oregonian yesterday, and it was when I was walking around meeting with everybody, 6 years ago, it was like, the sport isn't there yet. The sport isn't there. We got to cover the main sports and this and that. And now everywhere you go, it's the economy and the where all the newspapers are right now financially, and they're all trying to figure out how to go online and where they're going and this and that. So it's just another battle to fight. Listen, I'm at the point now where it's like, I'm just so used to it. I'm not frustrated by it anymore. I go in, I try to educate people on the sport and on the UFC, and eventually they're going to get it, And most of the guys standing around here right now were probably in that position one time or another, and eventually you get it.
What's been your perception of the fan response in Portland, being this is the first time to have UFC here, in relation to ticket sales, excitement? And then the second part is, I spoke with some fans, and they actually were complaining about the ticket prices just because of the economy and whatnot. How would you address that?
Well, to be honest with you, I've been one of these guys that's kept ticket prices right where we've had them all along. And in some places, we're very conscious on ticket prices. I'll give you the biggest and the best example I can give you is UFC 100. We did UFC 100 at Mandalay Bay. There's only a limited amount of seats there. We could have charged a lot more for tickets. We sold out before we even went on sale. There's no way I was raising those prices. I'm not raising ticket prices. I'm not raising pay-per-view prices. And I'm not going to do what boxing did and price the fans out of the sport. I'll never do it. Trust me, nobody understands more than I do, these hard economic times right now. I'm out there every day. We go into all these different markets, and, but we still have to run our business. I think the response here has been great. Everywhere we go, we really haven't felt the crunch yet, and I get it. I get that fans do. And I'm conscious about the business. I try to keep the ticket prices as low as I can, but we have to run our business, and we have those options where some people have to watch it on pay-per-view and other people can buy it.
They're struggling. It's not what you guys are used to.
Yeah.
Go to a new market.
Well, did we come in here and blow it out of the water and sell out and everything? No. But listen, in this economy right now, we go in and we sell 10,000 tickets. I'm pumped. You know what I mean? There's baseball and basketball and all these other big major sports right now that are hurting, and people aren't buying tickets and people aren't spending money. And when we go into a market and people buy a good amount of tickets, I'm more than happy. And especially you come up here into Oregon and everybody's felt this crunch, and people are being laid off. People don't have jobs, and believe me, I'm very happy with how we've done here in Portland.
And was that your target coming in? Did you know, hey, this might be a market that we might not sell out here?
Absolutely, and there's other markets that we go into, and we're kind of. I was questionable in Philly. I was like, be interesting to see how we do in Philly. We killed it in Philly, and it was great. The way I look at it here, we killed it here too. Dallas is going great. Listen, man, I'm not living in a bubble, man. I know what's going on out there, and believe me. You ask Lorenzo sometime. I battle with our CFO, and I battle with him. We're not raising prices. We're not raising pay-per-view prices. If anything, when we go into certain markets, we'll adjust to that market. And like I said, UFC 100, you see ticket price go up for UFC 100? Nope, didn't do it. We could have done it for 100. And there was talks if we should do it for 100. And my answer is no. We won't. It won't happen. Not while I'm here. It's not going to happen.
Dana, can I ask about Vancouver? Has something specifically happened that is it now cast in stone?
We're going to Vancouver.
Is it North Vancouver? Because they made the deal in North Vancouver to basically to legalize it, whereas the rest of the city, it's not. Or has something changed with that?
When we announce it, you know what I mean? Nothing's been announced yet, except me out here shooting my mouth off early as usual that we're going to Vancouver.
What about talk about the Pacific Northwest as a market in general and how you guys view your Seattle up there in this region?
Yeah, we've been waiting to get up here for a long time. Obviously, we've been in business for 10 years, with Couture being from up here and a lot of other fighters from up here. Strong camp up here. It's been a long time coming. And Seattle's next. Seattle will be our next stop.
Any idea on the timeline?
I don't know. I don't. I expected to be here a lot sooner than we were.
On the theme
Randy
of
specifically ask you to try to get a fight here in Portland?
No, he didn't specifically ask me, but he's always wanted to fight here. It's always been, there was no doubt when we were coming to Portland, we were coming with Couture, unless he retired before then, you know what I mean?